Yeah, not a lot. Exceptionally frustrated and hurt. I think being realistic, we have to, appreciate that we're playing against the world champions, and it's going to be a mammoth task for any team to beat them. But the way in which the performance panned out was not one that anybody in our group probably envisaged, and anybody in our group is pleased with. So the initial reaction, a few minutes after the game finished, with some emotion here, is obviously frustration and hurt, I think. I think we have to all reflect and all try and process it a little bit further. I think the only thing that we probably can hold on to now is that we have another opportunity against Montenegro, to try and put a performance together that is one that we're proud of, because I look around and see the British fans who've travelled there, and they were making noise to the final whistle behind the bench, and we want to make sure that at least for the fans that we put a more professional performance together. That's the next focus for Montenegro.
Hi Mark, Emma from Ball in Europe. Obviously today is very tough. You've got a day now to plan, to think, get ready for Montenegro. So in order for you to give what you're saying, that more professional performance, that better performance, what do you need to do over these next 24, 36 hours?
I'm always a coach who takes responsibility, and will continue to do so. But I'm asking the players to reflect on I suppose their kind of intent. We spoke a lot about baseline habits and the kind of the fundamentals of how we compete. So I think before we start looking at anything tactically, I think we have to try and ensure that if teams are beating us, they're beating us because they're executing at the maximum. They're executing at their full capability. And credit to Germany tonight, but there's times that they were scoring the ball without little resistance from us, and I think that that's kind of my frustration instantly. So in terms of the time that we have to prepare for Montenegro, we'll continue to go through our processes as we have been, scouting, thinking about ways in theory that we should be able to to put some pressure on them, ways that we want to try and disrupt them. We got a chance to watch their game today against Sweden, so that probably gave us a little bit more of the sample size for the scout that we were pulling together. But honestly, it's about us. It's about us, and we have to try and have some resemblance for who we are, and hopefully finish that way.
Now, after this game, this was the biggest win since biggest EuroBasket win for any team since 1969. Where would you assess GB right now in your eyes after 4 games here?
I didn't say I wanted to be the most competitive. I said specifically I wanted us to be the best performing team in GB EuroBasket history, and we knew what that would entail. And I have no problem with sitting here and saying that was our goal, and knowing our group. I think that's something that we all spoke about and tried to bring to fruition, and tried to have that goal probably inspire our journey. And obviously, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that we haven't been able to achieve that. I think post tournament is probably time for probably deep reflection and deep review. But again, I think one of the things that I'll always try and say is that I am a believer in British basketball, as are many people. But we definitely need wholesale improvements. Across every level of basketball in the UK, and when you play against the world champions, and you see the journey that Germany have been on, and the level of basketball that they play, the levels that this roster is playing at, NBA, EuroLeague, etc. We should be able to aspire for that. So hopefully, not just me, the team, the staff around the team. Hopefully holistically we can reflect on this as a nation and think about how we can best facilitate, and how we can best provide opportunity for our players to develop at the highest level, to be exposed to the highest level, for our coaches to be developed at the highest level, to be exposed at the highest level. And yeah, it's not going to be an overnight process. We have an expression in Newcastle. It's like turning the Titanic in the time, which takes obviously a while. So yeah, I think we all have to, when we get outside of the tournament, reflect deeply and look at it. I'm disappointed that we haven't been able to achieve our second goal with this group and in this cycle. But that's something that, again, we'll use that review process. And right now it's trying to get messaging right with the guys to make sure that we have a professional performance against Montenegro.